what's up guys? Grant Wise here, and I get asked very frequently, what is a client generation system? What is it made of? How does it work? How does it function? You've probably heard about lead generation systems or branding or all these different types of parts that create marketing and advertising and sales, but what makes up a client generation system? And there's three basic components to a client generation system if you're in any business, but as it pertains to real estate, there are three very simple pieces that you've got to put together, and when you do, they create rocket fuel for generating new clients and new customers in your business. I'm not talking about leads, customers, people that pay you for your service. Now, the first thing that you need is leads. We don't believe that you should solely rely on lead generation. If you do, you'll end up spending a ton of money and you'll have a lot of wasted opportunity on your hands. But leads are really the first step to building that client generation system inside of your business. There are all types of lead sources. There's leads that you may own when you buy media or you build a database, your sphere of influence. Those are people that you can talk to every single day. There's leads that you can rent. So for example, you're paying somebody like Facebook or Zillow or Realtor.com or those different types of things. But there are sources that you can rely on to just go out and buy leads if you want. And I highly recommend it because you're not spending your time to generate those leads, which is typically worth more money than the actual leads are. So you need leads. Right now, I believe that the most undervalued, underpriced way to generate leads is through Facebook advertising. I think it's one of the greatest things that we have access to now. We're able to target specific advertisements and get names, phone numbers, email addresses, sometimes even physical addresses that we can put into our database to become leads that we own. So I think that you need leads. You need opportunities. If you're not waking up to new opportunity every single day in your business, you're probably walking around with a lack of clarity, which is no good. But once you get leads, you need the second component. You need the second part of building a lead generation system, and that is having a brand. Now, there are two forms of thought here. Typically, to generate leads, it's direct marketing, which is you're going to directly spend money and you're going to directly get a result, okay? With building a brand, it's not necessarily the same. So if I spend $1 in Facebook ads and I get $10 back, that's direct marketing. If I spend $1 on Facebook ads and I really just get more attention, what I'm doing is I'm building my brand, okay? If you're not well-known, well-liked, well-trusted, you're not going to be able to do a whole lot of business. This is why if you're generating a ton of leads, but you really aren't converting anything, it's because you don't have a well-known brand. You don't have any systematic way of building a relationship, building trust, building loyalty without calling, texting, emailing like crazy, trying to get people to answer the phone when realistically they don't want to anymore. We created this process. It's called Dynamic Video Remarketing, and what we do is kind of like when you go to Amazon and you try to buy a product and you don't, right? That product then follows you all over the internet until you decide to make that purchase decision. We teach you how to do the same thing when you're building out a client generation system. So when leads come and they opt in and they don't decide to do business with you right then, which rarely happens, you're able to follow them all over the internet with really short, simple, branded pieces of video content that allow them to build faith, trust, loyalty with you. It kind of props you up as the preeminent authority and really kind of elevates you to celebrity status in your market, which is very unique. So you have leads, you have a brand. The third and final component to building a client generation system is having a sales process, a predefined process, a predefined series of steps that you follow to convert a customer, to convert somebody into a commission check, to get to the closing table. So many people that we speak with have leads coming in, they call them, they text them, and if they don't hear from them, that's it, they go on to the next. They don't actually have a system that helps them build those relationships, that follows up with people for them, that tells them how to follow up with those people. And in order to build a client generation system in your business, you have to have that. You have to have a lead generation system in place, you have to have a branding system in place, and you have to have a sales process in place, or you're going to end up maybe spending too much money to try to buy customers, try to buy leads rather, and not actually end up buying customers. So we don't believe, again, that you should rely solely on lead generation. If you have a really cheap cost per lead, that's fantastic, right? You go from paying $50 to Zillow to paying $5 through Facebook ads, you get 10 times the result for your money. But if you don't have any branding in place and you don't have any sales process in place, you're probably going to experience a really weak conversion rate, which will end up making you spend more time. Remember, your money is worth less than your time. We want to spend our money for money instead of spending our time for money. And the only way that we can really do that is if we put all three parts of a client generation system in place. If you can't answer this one simple question, how much does it cost me to get a customer? You do not have a client generation system in place. Whether you're spending your time or you're spending your money, you need to really zero in and focus on putting these three key parts in place. And once you do, you will be able to predictively and systematically generate customers on demand. If you want to go buy a new car and you know exactly how many homes you need to sell to buy that car, but you don't know how much money you will need to invest in marketing to generate those transactions, you do not have a client generation system in place. I was speaking with somebody yesterday, said, my cost to get a customer is $500 and I make $7,500 every commission check I get. He said, can I get that down to 100? And we really kind of quickly realized that if he's selling 4 or 5 houses a month, that $2,500 to $3,000 a month that he spends in marketing really becomes irrelevant, right? But we found out that his business really was a predictable ATM machine that would generate business for him anytime he wanted. He just had to understand how much it cost him to get a customer, and knowing how many customers he wants every month, spend that money in marketing. So, to build a client generation system, you need those three components. You need lead systems, you need branding systems, and you need sales processes. If you want any help from me building these things out, make sure you shoot me a private message or click on any link that may be attached to this video, and we'll help you get started. Thanks.